AEW All Out this upcoming Sunday night. We got so many events this weekend. Sunday night, the final pay-per-view of this very long weekend, and it will be probably the longest pay-per-view of this weekend. They are already in Chicago. Dynamite this week was in Chicago. Rampage on Friday night is in Chicago, and then the pay-per-view itself in AEW's favorite city, Chicago.
And so is AEW's headquarters now in Chicago?
I still think they're in Jacksonville.
Here's the thing. Besides the pandemic, have they been in any other city more than Chicago?
No, but I will say they are the only company, and even WWE, I can't claim this, that has run, period. I'm not just saying in the life of AEW, but they have run 3 different arenas there. They've run the United Center. They've run the Now Arena, which is where they'll be this weekend. And they've run the Wintrust Center downtown, which is, I think, home to the WNBA team, and DePaul University. It's funny because they've got essentially 4 legitimate arenas in Chicago. The only one they haven't touched is the only one that WWE goes to, and that's the Allstate Arena. So WWE goes to Chicago, goes to the Allstate Arena, essentially goes nowhere else. AEW comes there, goes to all 3 arenas other than the Allstate Arena.
Is that their way of just like, oh yeah, we're in Chicago, but we go to all these different arenas? Like,
I don't know, because to be honest with you, WWE will never go to this Now Arena, formerly known as the Sears Center. And frankly, I don't know why AEW goes there. It must just be the same as WWE always going to the Allstate Arena. They must get a sweetheart deal there because obviously the United Center is the crown jewel of arenas in Chicago.
Oh, 100%.
And while AEW may have a harder time filling that on a regular occasion, I would still think that the Wintrust Arena, which is a newer arena, is at least downtown where they're going this weekend and where they've been a bunch and where Double or Nothing was. And the first All In is in the Now Arena, which is in Hoffman Estates, Illinois, which is the furthest one away, which is essentially, if you're comparing this to like New York City, this would be like the Long Island Arena in comparison of the In the City Arena. This is a good 45-minute drive outside of Chicago.
So it's definitely on the outskirts, so to speak.
Yes. So I would say, even if I was not ambitious enough for the United Center, I would still be trying to hit up that Wintrust Arena downtown more. If I was not ambitious enough for the United Center, don't want to step on WWE's toes for the Allstate Arena, I'd pick the Wintrust Center, which is right in downtown. Actually, probably closer to downtown than United Center is in that sense. But they're going to this arena. They like it. For whatever reason, they like it. Sure, it's their little home, even though, again, they were just in Chicago. The last pay-per-view was in Chicago.
Yeah, that's...
It's not even like they just go there a lot. Like, literally, WWE goes to, like, MetLife Stadium a lot. But, I mean, they didn't literally, like, have Royal Rumble and WrestleMania there one year.
Here's how I look at AEW. So I look at AEW kind of like... So AEW in Chicago, I feel like, is like WWE in New York City. That's kind of
not even though, because WWE is not going to run New York City in June and then run it again in September for a pay-per-view. But
I'm saying, like, I feel like that's like their home away from home is how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think it's a really good wrestling town, and they just they're one of those kind of companies that they struggle in some places, and they say, hey, we already know what we're going to get here, so why risk it? Why take that chance?
No, and that's the thing, and I agree with that. I mean,
and I think it's pretty important too for the fact that they're running like a whole weekend's worth of shows, because sure, they can get a big crowd for a pay-per-view anywhere, but if you were trying to come to Buffalo, New York, and you had a show on Wednesday night and a show on Friday night and then a pay-per-view on Sunday, it might be difficult to fill 3 nights if you're AEW, So they're betting, they're hedging their bets. It's a smaller arena, probably one of the smaller ones in Chicago. I think it's got a 10,000 seat max.
But here's the thing: why do we need 14 matches?
We don't. And I understand that 3 of them here are on their kickoff show, if you will.
Yeah, but this card is way, it's inflated. Like, you could do half of this card and you'd be fine.
Yeah, I think Pac and Kip Sabian, that's like a pre-show match. That's for the AEW All Atlantic Championship. That could be saved.
And Angelo Parker too. I mean, like,
these could be saved for Dynamite next week.
They could be,
and
saved
that's great because you have a pay-per-view, and they've already done it with Dante Martin and his championship. He's got like the ROH Pure Championship. They've already announced he's going to be defending that on Dynamite, meaning like, hey, there's a pay-per-view this weekend, but once the pay-per-view is over, don't think we're slowing down. We've got another big event coming up, another TV show.
I mean, let's look here. I mean, looking at the card, I mean, there's 14 matches here.
Yeah, 11 on the main card.
Now, of those matches, how many of those are you really excited about?
I'm curious to see, obviously, the 6-man or the AEW World Trios Championship. You got the Elite, which are in the finals of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks.
Who's a TBD?
Well, they're going to find out on Rampage as the Dark Order with Hangman Page takes on Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor,
well, we already know
and
who it's gonna
Trent
be.
Beretta.
It's going to be the Dark Order.
It's going to be Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, essentially.
Yes.
It's going to be like what WWE does with 6-man tags when they have like the two guys they really want to face one-on-one.
But
and then, like,
here's
the
the
Usos
snoozy part about this. The snoozy part about it is we know the Elite's going to win.
Yeah,
it's so predictable. Like we know we're going to put this trio.
The Young Bucks are going to have more gold. It's funny because as soon as they're like, you know what, we'll let some other people take the spotlight of the tag team division, they just then create another tag team division to take the spotlight of that.
Well, of course, and to me, it's like they just want to put. It's like this is why I don't like having regular like on-air talent, regular talent, in-ring talent as VPs and EVPs, because I feel like at this point, I mean, I'm not in the room, but I feel like they're booking themselves, getting themselves over here.
And the crazy thing is they have so many matches here, and they clearly can show you that they do have too many championships.
We don't need that many titles.
We don't need this World Trios Championship. We have a tag team championship. You have two women's championships. You have two lower card.
Okay, we have 2 women's championships here. Mm-hmm. And they don't have enough women to fulfill these 2 championships. And we've talked about it on many occasions. The women's roster in AEW is very thin with quality talent, in my opinion. A lot of these talents are, to me, they're developmental talents. There's a handful, like you got your Tony Storms, you got your Britt Bakers, and who's the other lady I like? I mean, you got like the TBS championship here. You're gonna have Jade Cargill versus Athena, better known as Ember Moon in WWE. I mean. There's another girl I really like. It's not Thunder Rosa. She wrestled Thunder Rosa a few times.
Serena Deeb?
There we go. I like her. Deeb's good. I like Tony Storm. I like Britt Baker, and I like Deeb, and I like Thunder Rosa too. The rest of the division to me is kind of meh. Like Athena's okay, but like what has she done since she's been there? Like I haven't seen that much out of her to be like, oh man, like she's a primetime player. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, yeah, Jade Cargill is the champion.
Jade Cargill is the Goldberg of the women's division currently.
Yes. I mean, she's not that great of a wrestler, but she's the way she carries herself. I mean, she's cool in that aspect. But like when it comes to like in ring legit, like there's only a couple. Like, and you can't have 2 titles for a division that week. I mean, I'm looking at this card right now. Do we care about Jade Cargill versus Athena?
To be honest with you, I think I'm more interested in that match than I am the actual 4-way match for the AEW Women's World Championship with Tony Storm, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter.
See, I go the other way on that.
Because I guess,
I like the names in that match. I like Tony Storm, Britt Baker, and Sheeta. Hayter's not bad either. I think those 4... I think that's going to be a better match.
Well, here's the thing, and this is kind of interesting. I look forward to an AEW just a little bit. Some of the matches that aren't going to be as good of matches, because AEW is literally one of those that tries to put out like a 30-minute, 5-star Meltzer loving match.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the Jade Cargill Athena match could have more of a quicker, shorter kind of storytelling. Names you've heard of, Jade Cargill you're well aware of, Athena, who is Ember Moon, you're familiar with him, so they've got like the well-known people you've heard of. I like Tony Storm and Britt Baker and all them. That's going to be a great match, but I feel like there's no disrespect to it, but it's going to be a barn burner. It's going to be like trying to steal the show. It's going to be 25-30 minutes long. It's got a lot of people involved. There's going to be a lot of crazy flip off the top rope for Britt Baker kind of thing. And I think the Jade Cargill Athena thing could actually be in a card that's got so many, something that's just a little more palatable because there's just so much wrestling. So I want to kind of see something shorter. I want to see something that's doesn't have so much going on because there's so many of these matches. I mean, we got a 6-man tag that's got nothing to do with the World Trios Championship in Wardlow and FTR versus Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. They're going to try to steal the show, especially like the Motor City Machine Guns, who have made their name in Impact Wrestling for so many years.
But you can have that. You can have that on Dynamite.
Yeah, that can main event to Dynamite. I think it'd be really well.
And here's another match that could be on Dynamite, like Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. That's another Dynamite.
Yeah, I mean they've been doing pretty good with the storyline. I will say with Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs though has been pretty good.
Yeah, but I will say this: to me, it's a Ricky Starks is a star in my book. I can't buy into Powerhouse Hobbs. I just don't. To me, he's like a generic version of Big E in my book. That's how I look at him. I think he's like a dollar store version of Big E. I don't see it with him. He's got the physique, sure. Mm-hmm. I don't see the total package like we had with Big E, obviously before the injury. That to me, that's AEW's version of Big E, but it's like a lesser version, so to speak. It's not like it's the store brand versus the name brand, I guess. Ricky Starks to me is carrying this feud, but there's only so much Ricky Starks can do. That's just Ricky Starks is a star in my book, and AEW needs to book him better than what they have. That's just how I look at Ricky Starks. He's one of the few names that if they don't book him well enough in the next, by the time his contract is up, I don't know what his terms are of that. I could see him in WWE. I think Ricky Starks I think he's better off in WWE, especially the way Triple H is booking things right now.
I just counted. We have 3 on the main card. 3 6-man tag team matches.
It's like, you know what? And here's what I'll say to that. How many times have we talked about...
Not counting a regular tag team match.
Here's what we've always talked about with the inflated roster that they have. These 6-man tag matches are the perfect way to get everybody on the show.
You got House of Black versus Darby Allin, Sting, and Miro in a 6-man tag team match. It means nothing. I will say this much at least. If they keep all these teams together... like in the sense of like House of Black, if Darby Allin, Sting, and Miro stay as a cohesive team, and the other obviously 6-man tag of Jay Lethal and Motor City Machine Guns and Wardlow and FTR, I guess it's going to make the AEW World Trios Championship kind of interesting. Like unlike the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship where teams are kind of thrown together.
You can make some legitimacy. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you could actually have some contenders for that 6-man tag other than just 3 people who want to challenge for it if the teams that are in these other 6-man tags kind of stay together and form teams, stay as teams and not just for the night. I would probably say the match I'm looking forward to the most with the best storyline going in is Jungle Boy and Christian Cage. They've been working that story all summer long.
That'll be fun. I
think that's the best storyline coming into this.
I'm just curious to see how the match goes, because Christian's not, he's not what he was, years ago. I mean, can he still put on a good match? I think he can. So I'm curious to see how long this match goes. And I agree. I think they've built this storyline up pretty good. I think that's one of the better storylines. I mean, Moxley and Punk, that's an obvious storyline to watch. Mm-hmm. And then I would say
the Bryan Danielson, Chris Jericho match, while it's 2 main people, the story seems a little forced in that sense.
But I mean, it should still be a good match because I do like the way, I like the fact that Chris Jericho is being branded as the Lionheart. Like, that's cool. Like, I like that because he hasn't gone by that in such a long time, really. So, and I like the fact that they're kind of incorporating the dungeon, which is kind of cool. And I do like the back and forth of, like Danielson saying, if Stu Hart were alive today, who do you think he would say is the better wrestler? Like stuff like that. That was kind of cool because you're incorporating some stuff that a lot of maybe the newer, maybe not, like us, like we're into it so much that, the younger kids that are watching like that maybe are not as educated about the business can go Stu Hart and they can go on their phones and Google it real quick. And like, oh, that's cool. Like that to me, like I like that kind of stuff. I get that it's kind of forced. But I do like that they're educating the audience that maybe is newer to the wrestling business.
The traditional 6-man, it's not even just traditional for this pay-per-view. I feel like it's traditional for like multiple pay-per-views they have because they have at Double or Nothing. They always have the Casino Battle Royale. Yeah. So they have the Casino Ladder match here at All Out, and it's got Claudio Gastinoli, Wheeler Yuta, Penta L0, Ray Phoenix, Rush, Andrade, Dante Martin,
Roosh. Gotta get that right. Roosh.
And TBD. Now, I would be more interested in this if let's say John Moxley.
Who's the TBD though?
What I was going to say is I'd be more interested if John Moxley was going to just face the winner of this match in the night, and then like the TBD was CM Punk or something like that. Because the winner gets a future championship shot. So whoever wins CM Punk, John Moxley, is going to then have to face one of these people.
Besides TBD, I guess. Like let's without that person in the match,
it's not going to be Bobby. It's not going to be Bobby Fish.
Who do you think wins besides taking the TBD person out of the equation? I mean, for me, I feel like
Claudio Cesaro.
Yeah, I think so too. That's where I'm going.
Yeah. I mean, again, I kind of wish we'd have a pay-per-view, just one, where there wasn't a TBD, where there wasn't like some sort of who's going to be it. Like,
yeah, it's not like this gimmick's kind of ran its course.
I just, AEW, I feel like they have not a lot of pay-per-views, but I can't wait till the day, I guess, where they have a lot of pay-per-views, so we can start seeing some in-your-house style pay-per-views where it's like 5 matches or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I would be happy if they had this, like I said in the beginning, like I would rather see...
I think 7 matches for this card is good.
Yeah, 7, that's exactly.
They have 11 on the main card. They have 11 on the main card.
Here's the thing. What the hell's the point of a pre-show? Just get to the get your shit in. Get to the pay-per-view. Like, I don't like pre-shows. Like, to me, they're pointless. Start the show like it's the main show. I don't need like...
Well, if you don't like pre-shows, you've been a fan of WWE because they haven't had a pre-show match in a while, which is strangely enough.
I like it. I don't...
2 nights of WrestleMania, and you had like 2-hour pre-shows before each, but not one match.
Here's the thing. If people I think the reason why they do these pre-shows is like to drive up interest last minute to get people to buy it.
It's the Sunday Night Heat thing back in the day. Don't you remember Sunday Night Heat when you were a kid, hyping you up?
At this point, are any of these matches that are projected to be on the pre-show really going to make me, I gotta make sure I spend my hard-earned money to watch the pay-per-view? No, it's a waste.
No, especially too because these aren't like on major TV. So back in the day, WWE, and I think even some WCW, like Heat was on the USA Network or MTV. Yes. It was a way for people who may not even know the pay-per-views going on to be flipping the USA, and they'll be like, we're here, and they're hyping it up, and you gotta stay tuned. You gotta buy a pay-per-view. If you're tuning in on, Bleacher Report, you already have to seek it out. That's the thing. You already have to go find it. If you turn on Peacock for the WrestleMania pre-show, you're already there. They're not going to encourage you to just not change the channel, to just stay there. It's not really needed in that sense. If this was on TBS or something at 7 o'clock, then yeah, I can understand because it's a way for them to be on TBS and to tell those people who aren't aware of the show, who are just tuning on, flipping the channels, to be like, oh, there's an AEW pay-per-view tonight. And then it's a 1-hour commercial to make sure to say, hey, we're going off the air at 8, but make sure to tune over to pay-per-view to buy this. To put a little
capper on this, like what is your, like on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your interest in this card? As we're going into the show, obviously we're going to talk about how the show went next week. I mean, I'm interested pretty high, like an 8 or a 9.
But is it a pay-per-view that I feel like I have to watch live? That I have to make sure I watch every match without missing it. It's not like that.
So okay, I have an more interest. Of a 7 for you then?
I have an interest. I don't want to miss the pay-per-view for sure. I don't want to not watch it, but because it is so long and there's so much going on, I feel like I'm interested in who wins all the matches and most of the matches.
Can I be honest?
But I don't need to watch it live. Kind of pay-per-view.
I'll be honest. I'm actually lower than you on this one. I say 6.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I'll be more apt to watch it than I would on a normal Sunday night because we have Labor Day weekend, so we have Monday off. So in a normal scenario, like, if I had to work the next day, I would probably even have it lower. I'd have it like a 4 or 5. To me, I don't like 14 match cards. I think it's a little drawn out. Like there's only out of the 14 matches, there's only a handful that I would want to watch. So for me,
and you don't even know if they're going to throw out any. I mean, remember like Jay Lethal when he made his debut on a pay-per-view? It was like another segment that they threw in there that was unmatch related.
Exactly.
Going right to the main event, though, here. We got Jon Moxley, CM Punk. We obviously, when the week we were off, things got skewed and the championship was put on the line, and Jon Moxley beat CM Punk pretty handedly.
Yeah, it was like a Goldberg.
Somehow, some way, they've decided that this is going to still happen again with CM Punk, now not the champion, and Jon Moxley, the overall world champion. But, some interest with CM Punk trying to get, I guess,
CM Punk in Chicago, they're going to beat that
and this
drum
past
again.
weekend on Dynamite, you know what I mean, with his former tag team partner from the Indies back in the day, slapping him in the face and trying to, wake him up and get his energy going again. What interest do you have for this match, and who do you think is leaving with the championship?
I am interested in this match. I mean, I know they beat this Chicago CM Punk drum all the freaking time, but I still think, could it be worse than what we had this past week where it was a 2-minute match? I think this goes longer, and I think it'll be a better match. So, yeah, I'm definitely interested, and I do think Mox keeps the title. I think for AEW business purposes, just having Jon Moxley carry the belt is better for business.
Yeah, I'm going to probably say that Mox wins, but actually, no, I'm going to go against. I'm going to say CM Punk wins this.
Okay.
CM Punk gets his championship back, and I think it's going to be the start of some sort of, storyline with CM Punk kind of redeeming himself after that awful loss and kind of going on a little, a revenge tour, if you will, to kind of get his mojo back. Because, there's been a lot of talk lately about how people have been talking about CM Punk in the back, and about how he's not the greatest to work with, and how he's having issues in AEW, similar to issues that he had in WWE, where he's losing his love for the business and, that kind of stuff. He's being a little sour. So I think this is kind of like a redemption. Like, obviously, it only happened last week on Dynamite, but I think it's going to be a quick redemption story for CM Punk.
Okay.
So that's our AEW All Out preview for this upcoming Sunday on pay-per-view, and we'll obviously be talking all about that and what happened next week on the show.